Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
Welcome. This is Boxing Playhouse, of course, and I'm Sakura A. And tonight I have the world-class referee, Alicia Collins, with us tonight. Thank you so much for your time, Alicia.
Thank you for having me. No problem. Anytime.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm going to get right into it. 178 bouts, 8 world championship bouts with 10 world titles on the line. We got 1 title eliminator. We got 5 regional titles that you've ref, 9 exhibition fights you've ref. Your key fights include people like the likes of Alicia Baumgardner, Caroline Dubois, Stephany Hans, Jasmine Artiga, Amanda Serrano, that's a huge name. Mary Spencer. Of course, you got Jamanine Ortiz, Shadasha Green, Angelo Leo, Yoenis Tellez, and of course, I think you've even done Franchon, right? Franchon.
No, I didn't do franchise.
You didn't do Franchon's fight?
No.
Okay. But also internationally, we're talking about someone that has been to Benghazi, Canada, Mexico, Bahamas, and more to come. So that is definitely international experience. And of course, you're sanctioned with some of the sanctioning bodies as well as their refs. Can you tell me which sanctioning bodies those are?
The WBO, WBA, IBF, and WBO.
All right. So, and you also have the USA Boxing
Yeah.
that you started out with as well on the amateur side of the sport. So, I'm curious to your thoughts on being disparaged out of all these fights that I mentioned, all these great actual professional boxers that I mentioned. You get disparaged about a Blueface versus Chibu fight. I was livid. I can't deny it. It really pissed me off. I mean, I'm chilling. I'm doing my me side moments, and getting rejuvenated. And I'm getting sent this video where somebody that is a boxing media slash influencer, YouTube influencer, is saying these very derogatory statements about you. And, I'm just interested to know how you felt when you heard this and the fact that it was for an exhibition fight with 2 celebrities.
I mean, in this game, you're going to have people criticize, what you do all the time. I've seen it, and I've been criticized before. But if you're going to criticize me because I broke the rules, not because you don't know the rules. And I was once told, as I started getting more and more profile fights, I had a friend tell me, the higher you climb, the more of your butt is going to show. So be prepared that everybody's going to they're going to attack you.
Okay. So for me, there's
it happens.
Constructive criticism. Okay. And then you got just somebody just bashing you. Now,
Yeah.
I really don't know if it's just because it's some Blueface clout and they have so many, they're influencers in their own right, and people like to tag along and get views off that. Or is it that you really feel this way, even though you don't know this person's record? I'm really over boxing media in general being so negative towards the sports and being so negative towards our boxing officials, to our commentators even, and also our boxers, criticizing when they're not able to get in the ring and do any of the things that these boxers do. They couldn't spend a day in a life in your role as a referee slash judge slash timekeeper at times. They couldn't do any of the things that some of these commentators spend hours and hours researching and dedicating their time to hone in on their craft either. But they got enough keyboard warrior mentality to get on and talk all this BS about a sport, that already has enough negative marks on it, that we shouldn't be doing that anymore, especially when the things that were said about you specifically were totally incorrect on many levels.
Yeah,
um
I don't think I'm a DEI hire. But
right.
see, the thing of it is people don't understand, what we do, right? I want to be one of the best referees in the world one day. And in order to do that, we spend hours, countless amount of dollars going to seminars, going to these trainings. Like I have not been doing this for 4 years yet. June 17th will actually be my 4 year mark.
Right.
Um, and I've gone to 8 conventions uh, because I want to learn from the best. I went to sole arbiter training twice. The class that Jack Reese and Tom Taylor and Ed Calantis, teaches, in Las Vegas. And I've always said, no matter if you're a commentator, influencer, like whatever, do what you do. But I employ you to where if you feel like you can do better, come to the seminars, come to the training, right? Put your application in with
Great
USA
point.
Boxing and get the experience to do
Get
what we do,
busy. Right.
and then go ahead
Mhm.
and go on the pro side and you see, what you do. It's not, I just put on a uniform and, I'm in the ring, regardless if it's an exhibition fight, because even though it's exhibition, it's still sanctioned by the state.
Right.
To them, it's a world championship fight to them, So I get if you feel like, you're upset that your guy didn't win. And you're entitled to your
Yeah,
opinion.
but we cannot allow anybody to just talk shit about our officials in this way. This is where I'm coming from as a Floridian boxing girl, okay? And you're a Florida boxing girl who has been killing it in the game. You're still
Thank
not
you.
through. You're a rising star as a referee. So I can't just allow these things to be said without me saying something back about how ridiculous the statements were. And if you're going to be a boxing media person, you have to research, you have to at least do a little digging before you just recklessly run your mouth to millions of people prospectively. And you're incorrect on so many levels, ruining people's careers. You can have 1,000 great fights, and then this one person decides to bring up a point, whether it's right or not wrong, and your career is essentially stalled. And it's not right because of the fact that it requires so much time and effort before you even get paid. You have to volunteer your time as a USA boxing, professional on the amateur side
Hmm.
before most people go to the professional side. They get that experience in first, is what I
Correct.
mean.
Yeah.
And then you still got to do, your 4 rounders, your 6 rounders. Like you're going up slowly and proving your worth to the boxing director and the different key people in the industry so that you can get bigger and better fights and get paid more.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's not
like,
right.
and I feel your frustration because don't get me wrong, I was a little heated when I seen it, um, and it's not okay, but at the same time, to me, you're not doing something right. At least you get 1 or 2 people that's gonna talk about you. So to me, I just feel like I'm moving in the right direction with my career. Um, I'm moving in the right direction to ensure the continuity of the sport and
Absolutely.
to ensure that I'm fair. I mean, I don't I don't believe there are too many people out there that would say, uh, um,
Yeah, we got Christopher Young,
I know
another
he made look.
budding,
He paused me in my tracks as I was trying to read.
right,
Even with my
referee.
glasses on, like that's tiny.
Another budding international referee coming on and taking up for his Floridia protege. All right, he's saying you've officiated champions like Amanda Serrano, Shadasha Green, Alicia Baumgardner, Caroline Dubois. See, he knows your stats better than you. I love it. Okay, everybody needs somebody that's gonna uplift them like this, Alicia. I mean, you're very lucky to have these type of people in your corner. Willing to.
Well, if
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like people go, "How'd like? You seem like you're fast tracking," and I go, "No, I just had the cheat code, and the cheat code is because I had an awesome mentor, you know, who was not." Scared to say, come here, sit down, let me tell you what you did wrong in there, or pretty much basically, let me show you a better way. He never really said I did anything wrong, but, I like messing with him. But
Right.
he's always been there to say, hey, this is what you did. This is what I think you can improve on. I've gotten phone calls from, Jack Reese, Tom Taylor, telling me. So, yeah, it upset me. I think more so of the DEI hire, and part kind of got me. But the rest of the stuff that he said is just, to me, is just like, your boxing IQ is not as high as you think it is, because you know when you look at it, as he suggested in his video, and I think you went back and you actually looked at the part where he's talking about pushed out of the ring. You can clearly see that it was not an egregious, like, on purpose, like, I'm gonna throw you. He was throwing punches, and unfortunately, the rope between 2 and 3, he just kind of like fell right through it. So, there's no points that need to be deduction, no disqualification needs to be had. It wasn't something that was done on purpose. I in my studies of research on what to do when a fighter gets knocked out of the ring. What are my mechanics? It's not
I
about taking
mean,
a
to
point.
me, that
So
that
it
looked
is what
like
it
it
is.
was a rope issue. Like, like the ring rope was loose in this particular part. I don't know, like it usually happens more when you have some heavyweights in there, maybe before that fight or
Yeah, that was the
something like
last
that,
fight
where it's
of the
it,
night.
yes. So like it's the ropes weren't as tight as they should have been, and he literally leaned back on it, and it just gave way. That's what it looked like to me. And Chibu didn't do anything intentional. He didn't try to push Blueface out of the ring. But I was more livid about the fact, like, of all the fights you've had, the criticism comes from an exhibition fight with two, influencers like Blueface and Chibu. Like, come on, like, you really would, like, we really taking this serious like this, to this level, that you're critiquing an established referee over this fight. I just felt
I mean,
it's me as a what do they call us? They call us a diehard boxing fan. The hardcore boxing fans. I was offended just from the fact that it's like, this is the fight you want to pick out. Come on, give me a break. You're tripping. And I mean, so we dealt with the ref situation. You said the DEI statement that was like literally so beneath the belt. Even I was shocked that this person even tried to bring up some DEI comment, period. Okay, he's DEI. All right, if we want to get serious about it, let's just say it like it is. Who is able to use influence from big names to get in and do and get
I
access to
don't
a lot of
I
things
don't
in the
even know who
beginning
this,
of his
I don't even
career.
know who this guy,
So,
I don't know who he is. So,
well, it's
like I
somebody I had a lot of respect for until they said this shit here.
oh, see, I don't
And
even,
it's
cause
and
see,
it's and
like,
it's like
I
I
don't
wouldn't
pay
even.
attention like that.
But also I wouldn't have even brought this up. But I feel like maybe if he was a male ref, he might have not even done all that. He wouldn't have said all that crap he said to me. as a woman, I'm feeling like, it's always an extra little bash when it comes to females doing their thing in the sport when it comes to criticism anyway. So I also feel like he wouldn't even open up his mouth and dare to say some of the things he said had you been a male. But that's my opinion. Everybody got one.
Yeah, I mean, regardless if it was an exhibition or not, like I said, even though it was an exhibition, those fighters, they train, and we don't treat it like it's an exhibition because we don't play boxing. You play football, you play
Right.
basketball. You don't play boxing. And when, they were given their instructions in the back, that's what they were told. We don't play boxing. We're going to officiate this like a real boxing match. And to them, it's a real boxing match and it is sanctioned. So, it's not so much about the exhibition for me. It's just the part of we're the only sport when you watch baseball or basketball, you don't see the commentators tearing down the officials like we do in boxing.
Right. That's what I was getting at.
And
Yes.
that's I think that's what upsets me, the most when people make comments like, especially, when it comes to any of my colleagues or even for myself for that matter, especially like the DEI comment, how did she pass her test? Those type of things.
Right.
It upsets me, but it also tells me, I'm on my right path because if I didn't, right, if I wasn't getting criticized for absolutely nothing, I'm not in my right place is how I look at it. Because, I tell people all the time, I'm just in the back of the bus and God is driving the bus. So, and he'll stop it and say, get off. And there's times that I've gotten up, like I was getting ready to get off on the bus stop. And God said, no, sit back down. This isn't for you. So, I don't trip like that. It irritates. It irritates me because I work hard. I go to all these seminars. If I have a question, I'll call Jack Reese. I'll call Tom Taylor. And if I have a judging question, I'll call Efron LeBron. Be like, so I have a question.
Yeah, he's my go-to on these judging questions too.
And he always tells me, Alicia, where you're using your reffing eye or your judging eye, go home and use your judging eye and come back and talk to me. And he's always 100% right. So, I have these people that I've looked up to and go to when I have a question. I love the fact that we have this camaraderie here in Florida above the officials, that we will, that we stick up for each other, because everybody can have an opinion, and the thing of it is that you can have your opinion, but you don't have to tear down the person that you have the opinion about. Right? Like,
yes, absolutely.
There was a better way for him to express how he felt, and that's his opinion. That's what he did. And of course, since then he's taken down that Instagram post. So it's not even,
okay, you took it down, but my point is you never should have said it in the first place.
Yeah.
Have some respect for, boxing officials, period.
Yeah,
Not to even, so you say your guy should have won, but okay, that doesn't have to do with the refereeing quality of the fight. And also getting into this training, all these different seminars and different training sessions that you guys do, to keep yourself updated and knowing the recent changes in the scoring and in the different judging and referee rules. It's not cheap, and I know it's not cheap because I recently, in the last 2 years is when I started trying to go to some of these seminars and get access to be able to do my job better as somebody that's covering media, on the media side, covering events and seeing different fights and knowing the perspectives of whether a fight was a robbery, or whether a decision was a robbery, or whether it really was a closer fight than people might have thought, and how these judges are coming to their decisions And why did the ref not call this a low blow in prior years, the line was different. I'm just learning, and just for me trying to like catch up with the learning, because it's like I got to learn the old way to know what the change was. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to like update the entire boxing rules and regulations um, as you go along at some of these newer seminars that are out now. So it's not easy. And then I know the expense behind it. Nobody's paying this for you guys to go to these different conventions and different updates. You're paying out of your pocket. And these are things that I don't think individual fans really understand.
Well, I think, how we look at it, and well, I'll just say how I look at it, but, pretty much same lines, especially about my mentor. But, how I look at it is just like a teacher, right? A teacher has to go to school for continuous training, right? So, with continuous training, that's what we're doing. That's what these seminars are, is continuous training. People see how they do their studies and they go, oh, you know what, it is much better if we do this, because there's always a different way of doing things, and sometimes it's a better way. And I think a lot of people get so stuck on that mindset of how they used to do it, that trying to make a change, they fight that change. And in this sport, you have to be willing to be able to adapt to the changes. And if you can't adapt to the changes that's happening, regardless if you agree or not, you're not the most up to date. You can't judge a fight like they used to judge a fight. Can't rough a fight like they used to rough a fight, because things have changed. Safety has,
we know more now. We got more
more
knowledge on CTE damage, brain injuries. We know more about, what really causes that to be long term. And we know more about how, the technology has changed. I mean, the technology as far as the equipment, like the actual ring canvas, things like that, they all have changed from the past. The athletes, they are like more superior athletes. They got more different techniques at their disposal, more tools at their disposal, more vitamins and different supplements at their disposal. So it would be a shame for some boxing aficionados to think we're going to still do it the way we did it when we had Sullivan and Ali's, when we're now to the point of a real technological advancement in our lifestyles, in our life in general, but also in the actual business of boxing. I got a shout out to Johnny from the Hangout Spot. He's
Hey,
hanging in
Johnny.
here. Johnny, I'm glad you chiming in. Yes, this is your sister. This is your Florida sister. And I want to see you do an interview with Alicia as well,
He
because guess
did.
what? I know, but no, I'm talking about since this incident today, we have to make sure that we're here in Florida, we're Florida media, and we're gonna take up for our damn officials and everybody else when they are bashed for no reason whatsoever. And this goes for anybody else that wants to try this BS and think that we as boxing media are not gonna come in and defend our people. This is our boxing family. So you want to talk shit about somebody in our field, in our state? Guess what? You're gonna have you're gonna have everybody in our boxing media come after you. We are not gonna stand for this. I mean, the comments were outrageous, Alicia. As Emilio says, Alicia, you're amazing. You and Chris, we love you. That's right. And Mike De Jesus, we got our man Sam that's getting his Florida Boxing Hall of Fame
Yes.
induction this year. We got people like Efron, LeBron doing our judging. Okay, we got a wealth of talent here in the state that are going international. Every chance they getting phone calls, some of them which they got to turn down. They are so in demand right now to go anywhere in this world. So we're not going to sit up here and allow people to just say what they want to say and do what they want to do to our officials when we know better. Every time you step in that ring, you dominate. You're showing them that you're in control of these fights. You are no nonsense type of referee. The energy, okay, is there. Like if you even been to one of the fights that Alicia refs on, you see that she sets the tone in all her fights. These boxers know, don't play with Alicia. Because if you do, you're gonna be in serious trouble. She is taking punches for boxers by accident. Okay. She
You had to bring that up. You had to bring that up.
I had to. She is like, she is just blooming in every way. Well, we got Johnny saying, let's do it. She is welcome back anytime. She's family. That's right. This is our boxing community here. We can't let people just say whatever they want to say. Big up, ladies, from Coach Louie. What's up? We miss you. And happy belated birthday. All right. And he says, yep, Alicia is no joke. Laugh out loud. Cherie Johnson, okay? She is saying she ain't scared. That's right. That's our production girl. That's right. And then we got Coach Louis saying her dress is a flex. Yes, I loved it. That one fight that where everybody that was in the ring that night had their dreads,
Oh
Alicia.
yeah,
I forgot which fight that was, but it was like the two boxers had their dreads. But girl, yours was the best dreads out there night. They was on fleece for real.
yeah,
Those were the
because
ones.
my
Yeah.
loctician, Tanisha Price. So yeah,
Yes.
she does my hair
Okay.
for
I
me.
had to bring out mine, just for a little time period, just in homage of the great Alicia
Uh,
Collins dreads. But okay, so we went down the list. All right, so it was a DEI comment. It was the ring where Blueface fell out of the ring,
yeah.
and that was supposedly something you should have took a point for. So let's go into the real rules on what is considered what you would give a point deduction for. I know it's really discretionary depending on the judge, but I mean depending on the referee. But
If
uh,
you if a
what's
fighter
the deal?
does if a fighter does something egregious, right? And when I say egregious, I mean like I'd say
In-
stop. They take a
intentional.
step. They take a step back exactly, and they go and continue to like clothesline dude, or they intentionally push. But like if you're boxing against the ropes, and you're blocking the shots or whatever, and you just so happen bend and fall through, that's nothing that I'm going to take a point for. I might tell the guy like, hey, just don't push him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it has to be egregious. You know what I mean? Because sometimes boxers fall out of the rope sometimes, trying to dodge a punch, but being pushed out of the ropes like that, it has to be egregious. It has to be something that you are intentionally trying to do, not,
Hmm.
some punches and you try to bob weave and you fell through the second and third rope. That is not something that any official would, take a point on. Or
Yeah.
or DQ. I think that was what he wanted me to DQ him, or I think he said I don't know the rules or something, and rabbit, or I don't, I'm not,
Oh, that was the next one, the rabbit punching. But
you
first,
know
that particular, like when you look, you can see that when you look at that clip of him falling out of the ring, it was totally like an equipment issue with the actual ropes. They
yeah.
relaxed. And trainer William Vargas is in the house. Legend, dog. Legend in the house. And he says,
Oh
big up to the
wow.
ladies. But I'm sure
Hey,
he's seen a few boxers fall out of the ring. Okay. He's been in
probably.
this game a long time. WBC Trainer of the Year, all kinds of accolades, including Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, including New York Hall of Fame. Like this guy is the real deal. So I mean, I know he knows what he's talking about when it comes to ropes and boxers falling out of the ring and different things. So what we gonna also do is talk about this rabbit punching situation that he claimed you didn't never take points for or admonish Chibu for, and tell us the actual rule on that.
So like we tell them, things happen, especially when in doing the rules meeting before the fight or our fight expectations. They tell them, we tell them don't hit behind the head. It's because it's a dangerous punch.
Right.
But if you turn your head and give your opponent the target, right? or if you duck down as he's trying to throw a punch and you're ducking so down, way down that you're exposed to the back of your head and you're throwing punches, you causing your foul. It's kind of like, if you turn your back to shield from a body blow and it hits you in your back because you turn, that foul isn't
Yeah,
on
that's
you.
not because
It's
the
not on you.
boxer
You
was
can't.
throwing a punch.
Yeah, you can't. I'm not going to punish somebody because you turned into something. And that is the rule. If you turn into the punch, you turn your head, you turn your body to where it would have been a legal punch if you had not turned and you get hit in the back of the head. Yeah, we're gonna say, try to control your punches, but we're gonna tell him you caused that foul. Stop turning your head when he throws a punch.
So,
So
Blueface, you
that's
heard
what
it
it
here
is.
first. Stop turning your damn head when somebody is swinging at you, dog. You're gonna have serious brain injuries because you're turning your head into you're turning your head towards the back of your head, so the punch is not landing in the proper place. Okay, where it causes severe damage. So he's the one that needs to correct that particular uh strategy, whatever he was trying to do defensively wasn't
Like,
working.
and like I said, though, you have to understand that these are exhibitions, right? So you're
Right.
going to see a lot of that. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
it's, you know, um, these guys they're not doing, 8 weeks training camp, like these professional fighters are. They're not,
Mhm.
eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom boxing. You know what I mean? They're doing,
Yep.
what they're doing. They're promoting. They're doing, they're doing what their job as an influencer. Um, they're doing what what they do. So, it's you see it, and it's entertaining. It's a very, I thought it was an entertaining fight, myself. Um, I enjoy doing
But
those
it's for
types of fights.
entertainment purposes. It's not a professional bout in the first
Correct.
place.
Correct. Correct.
So, okay. So the next thing that was said is that you need to go back and train. And how did you pass the boxing commission test? And
Yeah.
okay, just straight up nonsense. Okay, nonsense. So what I have to say to that is, the understanding the preparation that it takes to even get to the professional level as a referee, how much amateur experience, how much different training courses and different workshops you go to. How many, where you're at right now is 100 and what did I say? 100 and something fights.
179, I believe.
Yeah, so like 178 bouts, non-exhibition fights. So you know how to regulate exhibition fights at this particular juncture in your career, basically, with that many
Heck,
under your belt.
while you playing, I started my career as a professional referee doing an exhibition bout. Remember, it was Creators Clash.
Oh yes, I remember Creators Clash in
That was my
Tampa.
that was
Yes.
my very first time being in the ring. Was Creators Clash as a
That's
professional.
wild because that was a packed arena. Like that was super packed. I went to that and I was just shocked that the amount of people that were interested in that type of celebrity fighting event. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
my wake up call to it.
I have the experience, and it's like I said, it's okay that he can feel that way. Um,
Yeah.
but my thing of it is there's no need to try to tear down a person and to the point to where you're calling them a DEI hire. Um, how did Miami commission? And there's not a Miami commission; it's a Florida Athletic Commission. Um, you know, all that type of stuff, and I guarantee you didn't see who I am. And I'm just an upcoming referee trying to become one of the best officials in the world. That's all I'm doing, and I'm doing that by going to training. Um, and I will say to him, please, there's an ABC training coming to Florida at the end of July. Please come and join us.
I
Uh,
mean, I know I've only seen like me and two other media people at some of these training seminars, just so we can hone in on our craft too when we're reporting and writing articles and different things, or what we say on our podcast. We want to be accurate about what those rules or what those regulations are before we hone in and target and say someone is a bad ref or a bad judge or whatever. Like, we need to be more equipped and more professional in our craft before we're able to go on and slander somebody's name without having much training in it ourselves. And so I encourage all the media to start joining and coming to some of these training sessions and workshops that really get into in-depth procedures on how decisions are brought about, judges cards, and the referees updated rules, and how that's evolved as well. So I think we got Jose Alonso in the house.
Boom, baby. Hey.
Boom, baby. Yeah. I love his moniker. Listen, shout out to Jose. I believe he's getting a Rochester Hall of Fame this year as a retired world titleist, and that's pretty cool. So congratulations on that. Okay, let's see. We got trainer William Vargas. He says, I'd like to know why some refs today don't take points away after like 3 or 4 low blows.
It's really discretion, of the referee. Like, was it on the line? And I'll point this out, is that a lot of people think, and I know I make sure that I say that when I do my pre-bout instructions, is that your low blow line, I want you to take your finger and put it on your hip bone and draw a line from one hip bone to the other. That, anything below that is a low blow. But you have to understand that boxing is kind of like tennis, right? Where basketball, if the ball hits on the line, it's out. If you step on the line, you're out, right? But in tennis, if the ball hits the line, it's in. So just like in boxing, if my portion of my glove is above that line, right, then it's not a low blow. So, I don't.
And so the line is no longer the belly button, first of all.
It's the hip bone.
It's the line is down by your hip bones.
Yep.
And 2, you're saying that if a part of the glove is above that, then you're safe.
Right. If it's on the line, it's a fair blow. And it also depends on what type of low blow was it. Why was it a low blow? Did he grab the top of his head as he was throwing and push his head down? That's the direction of the blow of the way the punch is going to land. So, I can't speak for other referees, but I can tell you there's a lot of things that we look at when it comes to, a low blow. Did the fighter hunch over? Because if you really hunch over, you kind of bring that hip line, that line a little lower than what you think it is. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of things that we look at, and I can't speak for other officials because I don't know what's going on in their head. But I know that I tell them that it happens sometimes, right? It happens. But if you're continually happening, to me, it's no longer an accident, and then I'm gonna have to start, taking points. Like, is it 3 or 4 in a round? Is it 3 or 4 throughout the fight? Is it late in the fight? Are the fighters getting tired? There's so many different scenarios that goes through, or what we see. There's many a times where even in a class, they'll ask the question, was this low or was it not a low blow? And everybody's looking where the punch landed, not looking at the fact that, it's a low blow. Everybody's saying, in class, yes, it's a low blow. It's a low blow. Watch it again. Is it a low blow? And when you watch it, you see that it's a low blow, but it's a low blow because the other guy was throwing a punch and he pushed his head down and caused that punch to go low. So whose fault is it? So there's so many different things that scenarios that we see that people who are not trained to see it don't see it. So that's why to me it's very important. And people, and my friends, they make fun of me, and I'm okay with that. Like, they'll see me and they're like, Alicia, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, and you're good here and up, and you're good here. Like, you be so on it. And I said, because I want everybody to see where I'm placing my low blow line, right? Because I don't want anybody saying, oh, that was low, when you can go back to the beginning of the tape and see exactly where I'm placing the low blow. I tell them I want to see your belly button, because then that I kind of can figure it out. But if I can't see your belly button, because some boxers come in the ring and their trunks be to their chest.
Looking like Urkel, right? Got them pants.
So,
They got them shorts tightened up.
Yeah, so we gotta make that, you gotta make that, the adjustment. And
yeah,
I think the more that, and I say that because I did a fight in Pensacola, and there was a male commentator and a female commentator, and I wish I had got her name. And I was watching the fights, because there was something I did in the ring, and I was like, could I have done that better? So of course I rewatch it to critique myself, and I'm always hard on myself than anything else. I think I was given an 8. I think I was given a count, and the guy came out of the corner, and I stopped my count and made him go back to the neutral corner. And the male commentator was like, man, that's the longest 8 count I've seen, or something around that line. And the female commentator, was, and I wish I had known that, during the time, because I would have went up and shook her hand. She goes, well, here, and see, in boxing, when they come out of the neutral corner, the referee stops the count until they go back. So that's why it seemed long. So she corrected that, and I would love to see more of that. Like, I know that
correct it right then when somebody is saying something incorrect.
Is saying something incorrect, because let's be honest, when you guys are ringside talking and commentating on the fight, the fans listen to what you're saying, and they in their brains truly believe that you, in which you should be, the subject matter expert of boxing. So what you say matters. So when you put incorrect stuff out there because you're not sure of the rule, or you criticize, everyone thinks that's law, and that's just not necessarily what it is. And I like I said, I see that Sherry Johnson says, I would love to attend those workshops or classes. And I'm telling you, it changes the way that you look at a fight. I mean, and I'm still learning. Like, I didn't know there was different type of canvases for those who want, speed fighters that go faster. Like, I'm like, wow, I've been in rings where the boards are not bouncy. There's no bounce to the ring. I've been in rings, I'm like, man, this is nice. It's all soft and cushiony, and
well, let's tell Cherie, the next fight. I mean, the next training session or workshop that's coming up for the ABC.
See, it's the ABC, and I don't want to say the wrong dates because I don't have my calendar in front of me. I want to say, but it's toward the end of July 31st through the 5th of August, I believe.
Is that in Orlando? It's going to be in Orlando?
Yeah, it's going to be right there at the Crib A.
Okay, so the Caribe Royale Convention Center is going to host the ABC. So that's the official Boxing Commission Association of Boxing Commission, ABC. And they will have training, and it includes everything, right? Refs,
so I
judge.
believe there's going to be ABC referee seminar, an ABC judging seminar, and an ABC bare knuckle seminar.
Oh, and bare knuckles too. Okay.
And I think there's going to be they also have, which a lot of times we sit in on, or the physicians seminars.
Oh yeah, the medical seminars. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I always try to attend that too. So, I mean, there's lots of opportunities. I mean, I know the WBA has some, the WBO, IBF, and then you got the ABC. So there's lots of opportunities to join in on some of these workshops. Some are close to us here in Florida. Some you have to travel to. Like, I believe last time you guys were in Louisiana. in
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of goes around different locations. So it's a great opportunity to be able to hone in on our craft as media too, Cherie. Okay, and Jose is laughing about Boom Baby. Let's see. Thank you, ladies. Let's see. Oh, Christopher Young says class in session. Okay, so you breaking it down. We're breaking down all these things that were said. All right. I don't even want to get into that nasty DEI comment because it's so ridiculous. Nobody chooses boxing referees based on, whether you're a female or ethnicity or anything like that. Hell, most of boxing is Latino. That's the dominant ethnic group. So what are we really talking about? A DEI in that particular respect would be Caucasians. So, I mean, they would be the minority. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there because that's what it
That's
is.
great.
It's
But,
real. But DUI statement was
I
absolutely
don't,
crazy.
and like I said, he's entitled to his opinion, and that's fine. But to me, you hurt the sport, when you do stuff like that. If you had questions, you could have asked me. Because I know, it happens. I don't, believe that I need to defend myself all the time, but it grows tiring when you go to these seminars, you spend your time to learn the proper procedure, to learn what to do, because it's a thinking sport for us. It's not something that is 100% like this is what's going to happen. There's so many different scenarios that could happen in the ring, and then we have to be ready for all of them with a split-second decision.
Right.
Sometimes we get it right, and sometimes we get it wrong. That is the reason why, we love and wish that instant replay was a thing all the time, because we're human, right? And so we do make mistakes. I'm not above missing a call or calling a low blow when it wasn't a low blow, but that's the reason why we have, and I'm one of the supporters of having instant replay so we can get it correct and make sure the right person gets what they need to achieve, and it's correct for the fans. So,
correct. Yeah.
Clearly he doesn't know, my training. Clearly he doesn't know what I have achieved in boxing in a short time, but I achieved these accolades because of the training that I attend, because I go and I try to learn. As my mentor, Christopher Young, told me when I came over from, the amateurs, was like, uh-oh, her clay is still wet, right? She's not molded completely. Like we can form this. So, I was told in the very beginning, like I 2022, June 17th, 2022 is when I became an official, a bona fide boxing official. December of that year, I went to my first convention. And that's what I did. And I've been to one or two, every year since then, because they have these seminars. And the only way that I'm going to get better is by looking and learning and asking questions and saying, hey, I'll talk to Chris a lot just because he's my mentor. And I'd be like, dude, I feel off the ring. Can you tell me, did you see it? I felt off,
Right.
And he'll tell me, yeah, I came off of, I just got back from having surgery, on my wrist. And my first fight back, he was like, you looked a little amateur, like the way you was moving in the ring. You okay?
Somebody that'll tell you the truth about what you're doing is imperative in the business.
And I'm just like, I felt like I said, I think I was trying to accomplish, I don't know, I said, I don't know, but thank you. So, these are things that we do for each other, we do that with Michael De Jesus, and that's just what we do. So for someone to make that comment clearly doesn't understand what we do as officials as a whole, not just me, but all of us, that want to strive to be one of the top officials,
Well, they
and
definitely didn't know your record. I mean, you have international fights under your belt now. You've been to countries like, you've been to Benghazi, you've been to Mexico, Canada, Bahamas. Like and you're getting calls all the time, but it's whether or not, you're available or not too. That also comes into play.
right.
So you've got world champion fights under your belt. We saw you on the recent Jake Paul versus AJ fight, officiating Caroline Dubois fight, and undisputed champion Alicia Baumgardner's fight. Like that's like the height of women's boxing, that you were able to get to that level and referee with people like Sparkle in that particular fight card.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, like that. I know that had to feel awesome, to see someone. You saw her as, wow, this is a female referee doing her thing. And now here it is. You're like on the same card refereeing with her in fights. So I know that was like a momentous moment for you. Tell us a
Well,
little bit about that
so this isn't my first time working with Sparkle, but this is the first time working with her on this big of a platform.
platform. Netflix, baby.
Right.
Netflix.
She's she been there, but it was such an honor to be able to share that ring with her on that high profile, type of event. Like, she is a trailblazer for women in boxing as, a referee. And,
Absolutely.
without her, there would be no me. Because, she paved the way. I know she didn't pave the way for me here in Florida, but seeing her do it said I can do it. Right. So um it was a really good feeling to share the ring with someone of her caliber, and she has a world class international, official as well. And just to be able to, share the ring and her presence, uh, it was a great, it was awesome. It was pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, I like that was a highlight of my night, that particular night, just to see the women on that huge Netflix platform as co-main events, and seeing you two women referees holding your own in your fights respectfully, and very, very professionally doing your job that night as well. So I really appreciated just seeing all the women on that particular Netflix card. We got the beautiful Dahlia Duran in the house. Let's see what she's saying. Look, I need my glasses to even see. This is terrible. All right. Super proud of my Floridian ladies. That's right. Florida in the house. That's right. We got to support our Florida people. And then we got Cherie Johnson, of course. I'm gonna say it's Hit Like a Girl docu-series, and that is with her company IMI production company. So that is also something where she's working on her first episode. I believe it's Carice Taz Brown, following her career and the ups and downs of being a woman in the women's boxing field. So definitely keep your eye out for that particular release. And of course, I will say it for the record, I don't want to put this boxing media influencer's name out there, but you got to do some research, honestly, before you start bashing boxing officials and their professional records. And also, I won't post the video. However, I do have it. If you'd like to see what was said, you can inbox me, and I will definitely share it to you privately. Because, I mean, you will be outraged when you hear this too. I think we went through everything that was said about you and counterbalance that particular statements that were made derogatory about you. And I want to say, from Boxing Playhouse specifically, we don't play that. We don't play that at all. We're gonna smash all this right now. Like, it's got to be corrected, not corrected, but corrected for the record, so that when somebody comes along years from now, if they want to go to YouTube and they want to check your record and they see something that was said about a Blueface versus Chibu fight, they can get up here and they can, Google Alicia Collins, and they're going to see the real facts about this particular fight and how, this influencer fight is not going to make or break your career. However, facts are facts. We got to get that right, especially for my Floridian girl. I don't play that. So,
much love. I appreciate it. People are going to talk, and, the thing of it is if you're not doing your job correctly, right, when you're doing a poor job, don't nobody say nothing, right? And that is just the truth. Nobody says, but when you're doing a good job, people come at you. And I was told, when I first started, as I start to rise in my career, you're going to see people come after you. So be prepared. And when I was told that, I was like, nah, I just did not.
It didn't register.
No, it didn't register. Cause I'm like, but why though? Cause, I'm serious. Like, even Johnny will tell you on this, when he interviewed me, he was like, if you will see Alicia outside the ring before the fight starts and she is having fun, she's, talking to the people in the crowd, but there's a switch that happens.
Okay, we got Joe in the house. This is our professional photographer for Front Proof Media, baby. Listen, he says, my wife is Alicia, all right?
Hey, husband.
Shout out to Joe. And he says 99% do not understand what you or the judges are doing. That includes fighters themselves. I'll put the name out there. Ellie was wrong for his comments. All right, okay, all right. So we heard it from him. All right, and then Laura Ramsey, Lady Ram, the International Women's Hall of Famer, Florida Boxing Hall of Famer, trainer, boxer, retired boxer. I mean, just everything in this sport. She says, great job, Alicia Collins. Your Florida family is so proud of you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. And I think Cherie left an emoji, but it's not showing me what the emoji is. So I'll just put it out there. Thanks, Cherie. Yeah, Joe, like I was just saying, we as Florida media, we can't put up with this here. You can't just come after our Floridian Boxing Commission and think that nobody's going to speak out about it. Oh, no, that'll never happen. Okay. I came out of my she cave. I'm not going to say man cave. I came out of my she cave so I could make sure that the record was set straight. Okay, let's see what he says. If he honored to have Alicia officiate a fight between me and Ellie. He's ready to fight for his wife. You get it?
I don't think I could because you're my husband. I think there'd be a conflict of interest that I would not want to put myself or you or the Florida State Commission, in any type of bad light like that. So I wouldn't be able to, but I think Chris would do it.
Yeah, that's your boxing husband too. So we gotta make sure you gotta Emilio. Hey, we can let Emilio. I'll let you borrow him for a few hours to get it done too. Like he's available because he was like he said what? I was like, yeah, man, I gotta send you this because this here is wrong.
He wouldn't make that smoke. He wouldn't want that smoke.
He don't want it. He don't want it. That's true. He don't want it. He don't want all those Florida people on him.
The funny thing about it is, and I get teased about it all the time, is
dang Skippy, I will do it.
Told you. The thing of it is like, and I don't feel bad because I don't. People who know me would tell you like, oh, you refereed. Like Chris was like, when he was helping me with my resume, he was like, oh, shoot, you did Jamanine Ortiz. And I was like, what's that? And he was like, are you serious? And he goes, I keep forgetting. I don't follow boxing like that. I enjoy watching the fight, but I'm not what you would call a hardcore boxing fan, right? I don't know about all these different people. So when they were all talking about, oh yeah, Blueface, and I'm like, I said, who is that? I don't even, I didn't know who he was. And it was no disrespect to him. I just don't do that. And my kids were like, Mom, you know who it is. I'm like, no, I don't. And they played his song. I was like, oh, yeah, I know. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, I got it. So then I knew who he was. But it's like, I just, when I go in the ring, I have one job, right? And that job is well, I have a couple of jobs, but my number one job in that ring is to make sure the fighter is safe. My second job
Right.
is to make sure nobody infringes on the rules and there's a fair fight. I don't want to intervene. I don't want to be the reason why somebody had lost the fight due to points. That's not our job, right? Our job is
Right.
just to try to, the reason why we take a point is to level the playing field of an act that might have happened, i.e., an example of, a fighter goes down and you hit the guy while he's down. I say break, take a step back, and you get hit because you didn't protect yourself, right? I can take a point, but I can't take away damage that was
Right.
done
That's
to
happened.
that,
That it was done.
that
Right.
was due to that. So, that's the reason why we take a point, to make it a even playing field. If there was an infraction, on the rules, to where we have to um, take and intervene. That's something that we don't want to do. We don't want to DQ. We don't want to take points, you know, and, and I always say that, they don't make us do anything. You did that. You caused me. You did an action which required my reaction. And that my reaction is I got to get you and take points. So, but that's something that, a last resort that we want to use is to take away points, because that does, especially if it's a very close fight.
Yeah,
And
you don't want to change the trajectory of an already close fight too, like, over something that didn't necessarily need to have a point deduction.
correct.
That
What
that
what did
ruins
Joseph
stuff.
say? What did Joseph say?
Okay, he says, and yes, Alicia knows we don't play about our Florida boxing family. You damn right. And that's why I'm saying I came out of my she cave just so I could have this conversation tonight to set this record straight right now.
You
I didn't
know,
even want to wait till tomorrow, remember?
Joseph there. Joseph is he is the first. He was
Mhm.
at the Creators Clash, and he's got the very first pictures of me in the ring. And he sent those to me, and that's why he my husband, because that meant so much to me to catch the moment that I very first did it. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's my husband. He just don't know it. He just ain't proposed yet.
Right. And that was an incredible atmosphere for a first fight. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And shout out to Chris for giving Boxing Playhouse some love and some coins. We love Boxing Playhouse. Thank you, boo. We love Christopher Young as well. Okay. And then we got Brenda all the way from California
Oh,
saying, EXO.
so
That's right. Hello, ladies. Hey, Brenda, we love you. We miss you. We do hope that we see you again for our Florida Boxing Hall of Fame weekend, which is
yeah.
scheduled for June 5th through the 7th. And it's here in St. Petersburg at the Hilton Carolina Park. The same venue, Brenda, as last year. And we got some heavy hitters this year for real. We got we got Zab Judah getting inducted, Bob Aram. We're doing a post, what do you call more post? I forgot the name, but for Emmanuel Stewart. We got Lou DeBella. We got some heavy hitters getting inducted this year. And to my surprise, I'm getting an award as well, Alicia.
Boop
I
boop.
cannot believe it. I'm
Yes,
shocked. And I'm the only female getting something this year. So that is also pretty damn special to me.
it is. It
So I'm excited. The dates again are June 5th through the 7th, St. Petersburg at the Hilton Carolina Park. You can go to www.floridaboxinghalloffame.com to get your tickets, book your room as a group rate, and just find out the information on the particulars of the weekend. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. I can't wait.
I'll be there.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know my boxing family got my back. Damn it, y'all know that. Yeah, so I'm good. I know I'm gonna have an excellent weekend. So let's see what. Brenda says, "Love you both. We love you more." All right. And Joe, he says, I want to make sure to give Boston Playhouse their flowers. Oh, thanks. They are the most supportive outfit in the sports, hands down. Love BPH. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you. From day one, he's been an advocate for Boxing Playhouse, damn it. I remember seeing him at a bare knuckles fight. He knows what I'm talking about in Tampa. Okay, but he didn't warn me about somebody, but I forgave him for it. But he knows what I'm talking about.
He's such a forgivable guy, though.
Yeah, he's forgivable. That's true. And then Cherie says, yes, I agree. Well, guess what, Alicia? Our hour is up. I definitely want to invite you to come back at a different time when I want to schedule you and Chris together so we can really get into some in-depth, training and in-depth questions about boxing referees and what the new rules are and how it's been updated and how we as fans can follow and not be as critical of our boxing commission refs and judges based on just knowing more as a fan. So I want to schedule that as well. But thank you
That'd be
so much for
awesome.
your time
Of
tonight.
course, thank you
And
for the invitation.
oh yeah, for sure. Always. And then of course, I'm gonna try to help get some more media outlets here in Florida to get you on the show as soon as possible so we can rectify all of this. Cause we gotta teach these people a lesson. You're not gonna just talk about our Florida Commission people and family without us coming for you. We gonna come out in full force to support. Okay. So with that being said, thank you so much for everything that you've invested into the sport and all of the wonderful entertaining moments that you provided with your refereeing in the sport. And we'll just check you out a little later. What's the next fight that you'll be at?
I don't have anything scheduled right now. I just did that
Okay.
Blueface fight last week.
Mhm.
And I don't have anything scheduled, as of right now.
Well, I was gonna go to the Matchroom Boxing card that's in Orlando at the Caribe Royale in association with Box Lab Promotions.
I'm gonna
Just
I'm gonna try to make that. Uh I had made an obligation to go help out with this USA boxing tournament
okay.
in Miami. The 20th,
Okay.
21st, and the 22nd. So I don't know if we're gonna get done early enough. You know how these USA boxing tournaments go
Oh
sometimes.
yeah.
To
Sometimes
get
it's super quick and there's not enough boxers, and sometimes everybody show up. So
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to make it, and I can, because I wanted to trail that event. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to. So, but again, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on here, and I truly do appreciate you, and I love y'all. I love y'all.
and I loves you even more. Thanks so much, Alicia.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Okay.